across formats. This gathering recognizes librarians' dedication in the digital age, curating information and navigating online landscapes. They safeguard knowledge, guiding us through information space. On Librarians Day, we honor Dr. S.R. Ranganathan's legacy and the librarians upholding his principles. Let's renew our commitment to preserving knowledge and fostering lifelong learning. Before we delve into the enriching discussion that awaits us, let's start by seeking the blessings of Goddess Saraswati, the embodiment of wisdom and knowledge, who holds a book, a wellspring of learning in one of our hands. I invite first-year MLIC student, Ms. Priya, who's ready to render a divine invocation that will set the tone for the event. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Ms. Priya, who raised us with a divine invocation, filling this gathering with a sense of serenity and joy. Indeed, a warm welcome is like a gentle embrace that envelops everyone in an atmosphere of hospitality. It is with this spirit that I now invite our esteemed chairperson, Professor Hennes Marinaraina, to praise us with the warmth of his welcome and that introductory speech.
Good morning, all of you. Dignitaries on the dais, Professor K.S. Ranganathan, the Secretary of Ranganathan Implement for Library Science, Dr. N.G. Satish, former professor at Institute of Public Enterprise, Hyderabad, Professor M.S. Sapna, Chairman, Department of Studies in Journalism and Mass Communication, Professor Shalini Harris, Professor Kaiser Mikhail, Professor Malina Kumar, Dr. Ramshesh, Professor Chandrasekhar, Dr. Sunil Kumar, Dr. Nivedita, students, researchers, media persons, and other invitees. I am standing before you here to welcome you all, the most honorable work a host can have. Before formally welcoming you, let me talk briefly about today's event. Today is an important occasion for librarians. It is Dr. S.R. Ranganathan's 131st birth anniversary, who is a pioneer of the library movement in India. The exact birth date of Ranganathan is uncertain, but it is believed to be on August 9th, though official records state August 12th. Both dates are celebrated as his birthday. The government of Karnataka officially recognizes August 12th as his birthday, but we are celebrating it on the 9th this year. This decision is due to August 12th falling on a Saturday, and our students have open classes and internet test on that day. Hence, we chose the 9th for the celebrations. I'm happy to announce that we are collaborating with Ranganathan Endowment for Library Science. It was endowed by Ranganathan himself in 1961. We shall hear about the endowment from Professor Ranganathan later. Dr. S.R. Ranganathan is recognized as the father of library sciences and library movement in India. But for him, the Indian librarianship would not have flourished this much in India. Ranganathan was a tireless advocate for the democratization of information, passionately fighting for the open access and ensuring that knowledge was accessible to all. He is known for his seminal works in various facets of librarianship. His works, Bylaws of Library Science, Prolegomena to Library Classification, Colon Classification, and Classified Catalog Code are among many of his most noted works. The canons, principles, postulates, etc. he has developed are relevant even today in the age of knowledge organization systems. Research needs to be carried out to appreciate the relevance. He is a neologist, meaning he often introduced several new technical terms to describe emerging concepts, technologies, or phenomena lacking established terms. Basic subject, isolates, common isolates, array, chain, PMEST, a mnemonic for fundamental categories, and so on, are some of the technical jargon he used in his works. Most of these terms eventually became universally accepted terminologies in the subject. Apart from being a neologist, I can say that he is also a kind of a grammarian who formalized the faceted classification. And his colon classification was a game changer in the field of library classification. His 5 laws of library science have attracted many Western scholars of the kind of Eugene Garfield, the citation index developer. Garfield's tribute to Ranganathan is noteworthy. He once said, Ranganathan is to library science what Einstein is to physics. Today, the lecture is on Reordering Ranganathan, a work based on Ranganathan's 5 laws of library science. In a lighter way, 5 laws of library science is a pet cow for our students. Our students have the unique ability to link all their answers in the exams to 5 laws. That is the influence of Ranganathan on students. On a serious note, the 5 laws are such fundamental principles that within 5 statements, they capture the whole gamut of library service. According to an eminent professor, the essence of the library profession is encapsulated by 5 fundamental laws, much like the sentence, physics is a study of matter and energy, succinctly describes the essence of physics. That is the power of 5 laws. Today's lecture will cover the alternate sequence of the 5 laws suited to the modern day technology-driven information ecosystem. The Department of Studies in Library and Information Science has been busy organizing many activities throughout the year, in addition to regular teaching and research work. Today's lecture has an attractive initialism, RRR, reflection on Reordering Ranganathan, matching with the famous film with a dancing Rio. As a matter of fact, this is the second RRR we are organizing. On the 22nd, we had an alumni meet, which was also called RRR, standing for Reflect, Reconnect, and Radiate. The department has been innovative in naming conventions. The department is being informally and fondly called MyDLIS by its alumni. Similarly, the Alumni Association, the Librarians Association, Alumni Association is called Milan. The department initiated Librarians Association is called MyLisa, rhyming with the name Mona Lisa. The department's previous programs this year include 2-day program in January, a workshop and one endowment lecture on knowledge management system during February, 2 programs in March, one 2-day seminar and another 1-act play, 2 programs in May, a 2-day national conference and a felicitation program. And in July, we had alumni meet. Apart from the above academic events, our department has a convention of organizing student-led events under the banner MUNISA, Mysore University Library and Information Science Student Association. Friday Talk organized every week is a hallmark of our department, started some 6 decades ago. Students, teachers, and staff entirely fund the Friday Talk. Apart from Freshers' Day and Farewell Days, the students took part in and organized cultural and curricular activities. Last week, we celebrated Fun Week, where students, teachers, and staff dressed up differently each day, such as Uniform Day, Pink Day, Western Day, and so on. They also organized sports events and shared reels on social media. All these things enhance the belongingness of the students to their alma mater. It is the time for me to welcome the guests and the gathering here. Let me first welcome Professor K.S. Raghavan, who has accepted our last minute request to preside over the function, as our registrar could not make it to this particular function due to unavoidable reasons. I profusely thank him for accepting our invitation to be the president of this particular function. Professor K.S. Raghavan, Member Secretary of Ranganathan Endowment for Library Science, has held various academic positions and assignments. Professor K. Raghavan, a visiting scientist at the Center for Knowledge Analytics and Ontological Engineering, a World Bank project at PS University Bangalore from 2013 to 2017. He also served as an invited speaker at a conference on social epistemology as a theoretical foundation for information science at the University of Copenhagen, Denmark, in August 2017. Additionally, Professor Raghavan was a visiting professor at Nanyang Technological University, Singapore in 2015, and at the Federal University of Minas Gerais, Brazil, from March to June 2003. He was a senior Fulbright fellow at the Graduate School of Library and Information Science, University of California, Los Angeles, USA, and a British Council visiting scholar between in 1987 and 1993. Some of his previous positions include being a professor at the Documentation Research and Training Center, Indian Statistical Institute, Bangalore, from 2005 to 2013, Dean at the University of Madras, 2004 to 2005, and Professor and Head of the Department of Library and Information Science, University of Madras, Chennai, from 1989 to 2005. Professor Raghavan also has been involved in various industrial works, including serving as a chief editor of Ranganathan Endowment for Library and Information Science Journal of Information Management since 2014, and being a member of editorial boards of international journals like Knowledge Organization, Libris, and Libri. He has been a part of several academic committees and organizations such as Technical and Advisory Committee of the Indian Statistical Institute and the Rajaram Mohan Roy Library Foundation at the Ministry of Culture and Government of India. And he was an elected member of ISCO Executive Council from 2008 to 2012 and served as a visiting professor at several Indian universities. On behalf of the Department of Library and Information Science and all of us gathered here, I extend wholehearted welcome to Professor Raghavan for his presence and when we were thinking about the resource person, I remember Dr. Satish and old acquaintance from Mysore. We, myself and Dr. Satish, both did our PhD under Professor H.A. Khan. He is the fifth person to get the PhD from our department, if my memory serves right. He spent most of his career in Hyderabad, so we did not interact much. Recently, I heard that he has returned to Mysore and may stay here. It has been a few decades since he last visited the department. I'm happy to welcome him back to Mysore and department. I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. N.G. Satish, a distinguished professional with a strong background in information science and English. He has held various key positions in academic institutions and research centers, showcasing his expertise and commitment to the field. Till recently, he served as a professor at the Institute of Public Enterprise in Hyderabad, where he engages in impactful research, teaching and training activities. With a PhD in information science and extensive experience in library management, research and innovation, Dr. Satish brings a wealth of knowledge to the table. He has made noteworthy contributions in the areas like bibliometrics, rural development, and technology management. Additionally, he has actively participated in the various international programs and workshops, further enriching his understanding of information systems and technology. His multifaceted interests include creative writing and painting, demonstrate his passion for both academia and the arts. We are honored to have Dr. N.G. Satish as a distinguished speaker at this event. I extend a hearty welcome to Dr. N.G. Satish on behalf of the Dr. M.S. Sapna, Professor and Chairperson of the Department of Studies in Journalism and Mass Communication, University of Mysore, specializes in electronic media, reporting, corporate communication, environmental journalism, community and media, social media studies. She has received awards including recognition from Rotary International for the GST, Best Secretary Award from PRCI in 2008, Sir M.V. Vishweshwaraya Global Leadership Award in 2012, the Best Women in Educational Field Award in 2016, and Indo-Sri Lankan Fellowship in 2018. Dr. Sapna holds a PhD in Journalism and Mass Communication from the University of Mysore and an MA with first rank, 4 gold medals, and 3 cash prizes. She has taught as a professor and guest lecturer and guided 12 PhDs and published a book along with over 40 articles and research papers. She has undertaken projects on audience perception on community radio programs, media and police communication, adolescents reporting in Karnataka, and orientation of journalists in Karnataka state for sensitizing on children's issues. Additionally, she has conducted workshops and has been a resource person for numerous seminars, conferences, workshops, and written articles on national diaries. She has also been a chairperson of the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, University of Mysore, founding coordinator of Radio Manasa, CRS, and the chairperson of the Board of Studies and Board of Examinations. Dr. Sapna has played a significant role in academic activities, including being a Google Fact Shala trainer and faculty advisor. I wholeheartedly welcome you, madam. I am very happy that my teachers, Professor Shalini RS and Professor Kailan Nikam, have come all the way and are taking part in this particular program. I profusely thank them. I also thank Professor Malina Kumar, who has been a source of inspiration for me and for the department. I thank you, sir, for coming over here for this function. I thank my department staff, Professor M. Chandrasekhara, Professor Aditya Kumari, Dr. Sunil Kumar, and Dr. Nivedita B, for supporting me in all my activities in the department and giving lots of ideas in organizing many events in this department. Thank all of you. And welcome to you also. I welcome Dr. Saraswati, the University Librarian, and the library staff, Jayashree and Basappa over here, and the ex-University Librarian, Dr. C.P. Ramshesh, to this function. I wholeheartedly welcome the media persons for their coverage, and I hope that they will be with us in future events also. I thank the ICD for arranging for the live streaming of this event. I also welcome the students, researchers, department staff, and other invitees to this function. Welcome all of you. Thank you very much.
For your gracious welcome and putting the things in the context. In honor of the visionary Dr. Ranganathan, I now invite our chief guest, guests of honor, and other dignitaries to pay their respects by placing floral tributes before his figure. I request all the audience to keep standing while the floral tribute is offered by the guests. My heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for this touching gesture of offering the floral tribute to the pride of librarians, Dr. Ranganathan. Today, we are privileged to have Dr. N.G. Satish, a former professor from the Institute of Public Enterprise, Hyderabad, amongst us. I humbly request him to share his insights on reflections on reordering Ranganathan.
Right. Professor Ranganathan, whose name I take with reference because there's one teacher that I would always recall the way he taught and things like that. And sometimes I would try to emulate him, which not really so much to success because the range of questions that were sort of in the class and then expecting us to interact and things like that was something that I always appreciated. Professor Narayana, Professor Tapna, Professor Shalini Ayavas, all the other professors. And I'm still getting used to the slowness of my school. I don't know. I'm not very sure that I'm really the right kind of person over here to be addressing on a August day like this. Well, I must of course to begin with. Well, wish you all happy Librarians Day. I don't know how many of you were really librarians. I was one, and almost 3 decades back, I kind of stopped attending meetings like this, not because I was not invited. I made a remark which kind of triggered in that event a lot of discussion and then antagonism. I had to write and defend my argument later. Well, and beyond that, I was scared to attend any of the library meetings because, well, that's how it was in Hyderabad at least. I didn't go anywhere else. And then I do remember once Ikedas Gupta, I don't know how many of you recall him. I knew him well because he was librarian, professional staff for the media where I was also a librarian. I would interact with. He was the one who knew Dr. Ranganathan well, and also he always would have tell me all kinds of stories about Dr. Keshavan also. He once asked me, Satish, I'm going to nominate you for librarian awards. I said no. Well, I don't know why. Because maybe I did not really feel I'm really good enough to be given an award and things like that. But maybe I didn't know how to receive an award. It's also a possibility. And my job took me several places. In the last 20 years or 30 years, really, I moved on to a place where they expected me to, in a way, work as a librarian, 20%, work as a faculty or as a income source for the institution, 80%. So I had to get on to doing all kinds of things and then, well, get the revenue for the institution. I mean, that was a challenge. It meant long hours and things like that. It also meant some library work, original library work and long hours. But one benefit I got, or one return that I got out of that was when I actually sort of changed my last job and beyond retirement, facing so-called social scientists and things that I would actually sort of call them, which not many of you would do, and I would because I'm crazy. Addressing social scientists, you're all familiar with this. I could say that. I always took a contrarian view, and even when I actually worked on user studies, PhD, I did not really endorse users as well, not people who are enthusiastic, ready for the use behavior. There is something in between. There is a constraint in terms of readiness, attitudinal readiness, and if the attitudinal readiness is not there, well, the behavior doesn't quite happen. And as a librarian, I will be suffering trying to promote information for somebody who is not attitudinally ready to use that. Maybe, this is not something that is generally held view. People would want to be more than accommodate, go promote and things like that. All the promotions, everything is of course required. But then there's a point beyond which we shouldn't be accessible once. I understand because I'm a student of psychology, more recently an active student. If I have a problem and I don't want to be counseled, counselor would not really ask me to, come over and then get my help and things like that. There is a readiness, behavioral intention that is required and expected of the users. Okay, so that is something that I bring as a background. So I may have a contrarian view, but then that is all in the game is what was told. Not that I have hostile, not really. Before getting into any of the presentation, I must I have not been in touch with the libraries and literature, any literature for the matter. That was not really required for my immediate project. I had to execute. Well, it took me all kinds of places, really getting into the details of things like medical instruments and science literacy and all kinds of things like that. I did, of course, read, equip myself for the occasion, and wrote the reports, and then actually sort of moved on to something else and tried to read whatever that was required. Okay, my specific interest when I actually sort of got on to sponsored research for the Department of Science and Technology and DSIR, so that was innovation. Basically, I could actually sort of notice that we as Indians, well, I'm sorry, looking at our context, but not as innovative compared to several other countries in the equal ranking. I'm not, of course, looking at Africa or something like this. South Africa, I did. My probe was always to know why we are not innovative. And well, it has actually sort of taken me some distance, not really the whole lot. And I'm interested, of course, in making a workbook on problem solving and basically creativity, because there's also another area that I touched on when I explored lots of things. Okay, so for a bit, we are still not innovative, and well, I would of course see a lot of innovation due from along the lines. Not that I have done it all, but then I can really see it as a requirement, as a necessity, more for survival in the wildness of the market that is their academic market. So this, beyond that, I must always say, well, I did not study so much of Dr. Ranganathan as you people would have, or taught as some of you professors would have. I wrote the answers in the examination, forgot about it. It's only after Dr. Narayan mentioned that, well, he prompted me to speak on a topic like this. I looked back and then explored his writings, not necessarily ones, through Dr. Raghavan's writing, where he has actually brought in as many as 1,100 publications and a little more, including 60 plus books and so many articles. I thought when I was reflecting on that, the honor that the government of India gave to him for his contributions was very limited. He deserved a lot more than one Padma Shri he got, is what I felt. And this enormous creativity, because creativity calls for understanding, thinking differently, and then also acting. All that would not have come easily to anybody else. And he's not just made an impact in Indian librarianship. Well, his impact is world over as far as the library science is concerned. Come to think of it, it was in 1920s and 30s when he actually started writing reflecting on and writing about library science, and then it continued all through his life. And as I was thinking, the 20s were the time, perhaps economics in Cambridge and Oxford also perhaps. It was a nascent discipline. It was moving away from political economy in the early 1900s and 1910, 20, and then Sayers and Pegu were struggling to get the students to study economics. Management was not even there in the horizon. It only came sometime in the 50s and late 60s and things like that. Library science, at least for Dr. Ranganathan, all the research, all the reflection thinking was there right from that time. I feel the sons of Ranganathan, daughters of Ranganathan, they have failed a little, is what I feel. I don't know. Well, including me, of course, there. Because this is a discipline which had historical roots right from the 1920s. Good amount of writing, research writing, and things like that. And see the yawning difference between economics today and management, which I would say, with some understanding, as hollow management. It is so much of in the air and hot air, things like that. Well, I am opinionated, excuse for that. Okay, coming to the topic, reflections on reordering Ranganathan. The very title is, you would say, it's kind of hostile. It's not, it catches attention, but it is not reverential. How did it happen? I'll tell you as to why something like that could come about at all. You're not really thinking in terms of Ranganathan as some kind of an odd exotic dish, and you've already ordered him once, and then you're digested, and then going for a second course of Ranganathan. Certainly not. We're talking of 5 laws of library science with understanding, not without understanding in this context, OCLC. That is how it is, the way the world plays out and things like that. Then we got, of course, go ahead. What do I have in this presentation? There are one too many slides. I'm not just considering all you people are really specialists and know it very well. I bring it about some of them on the screen. You understand what it is. Just for the sake of sequence, I am doing it, and then I will come to findings from whatever that is listed as the findings in this report, and then the suggestions made in this report. And then I've got a few slides where I would actually bring in my understanding of my reflection of librarianship. And at the end, I will, of course, just put out a slide in terms of how I would have reordered the findings. The 5 laws would still remain there. Okay. This is something that you know. Basically, the report was actually reordering Ranganathan was put together by these 2 ladies. This is library science PhD. It's a management. The report says that when title was the sequencing of the content was suggested, he didn't quite know what is this 5 laws or who is this Ranganathan. This is a management page. That's what it is. So putting together a report based on 7 other reports. It's not an original study. It is a summarization of the findings from 7 different studies, and then the report also actually brings about references from a whole host of other studies done, including one I saw by Chandra Prabha. I happen to actually know her from Hyderabad, and she used to work in the English lab in the early 80s and things like that. Good that well, she is still active and doing work for OCLC and things like that. This is something that you all know, 5 laws. Dr. Ranganathan viewed the library profession from 5 different perspectives: reader, book or information, importance of the utility, service, and then the institution. That is, library as a growing organism. So these are, he brought in 5 different perspectives in 5 laws of library science. Okay, would have been 4 laws, possibly. Would have been 6 laws. I don't know. I could actually think of something more that was really required. Though there are, of course, writing in terms of 6th law of library science, 7th law of library science, and things like that. It's just like, for me, it is like 11th commandment. There are so many 11th commandments, more than 10 11th commandments, I would say. So, like these are the essential things. Otherwise, if there was one more required, with all the understanding and in the involvement of Ranganathan, would have, of course, brought in that 6th one also. He was not explicit about fixed on any number or something like that. Okay, so what is, all these things. Books are for use. Okay, I'm actually separating the details. But then, my interest in art, another way the books can be used, old books. There is something called book art, which not many of you would have known. I was surprised myself when I was visiting an art exhibition in Hyderabad. What a bit of these old books are carved out. What a bit of things. They're mutilated, in the strict librarian sense. Okay. We left out a few things. Adult literacy, of course, Dr. Ranganathan was interested in promoting and things like that. ALA, there's quite a bit of work on that, but we did not listen to do anything on reading research. For some reason, we thought it is not for us. And the second one, every reader is book. A lot of the things authorities need to worry about and things like that. Today's reality, 1.7 million book titles are self-published every year. Many self-published titles are print on demand. That means many of them would not really see the light of the day. They would print one copy for the author. There it is. And then a typical self-published that is not print on demand. Otherwise, you sell 5 copies. That's the world data. And the kind of books that you and I would write, it's called higher academics. Booksellers would actually categorize that as higher academics. The print order for the world print order, Oxford University Press and things like that, world print order is around 500 copies. And of that also, at least 50, 60 are given away for reviewing and things like that. So, scholarly work, of course, is important, but then they do not quite have as much market. Getting there is a challenge. Okay? To save the time of the reader, certainly to save the time of the reader is what we think. We have got into, it's not, I'm more referring to we people. We don't know anything about the readability measures. What is a good book in terms of the text? We have to go elsewhere. And we have not really spent so much of just on speed reading, which is again something that somebody else is doing. Okay? Is saving the time all that important? What happens when technology changes and things like that? What we learn from history? So, when photography took on in a major way, painting or art and then portrait painting lost out. They had no demand. This Leonardo da Vinci 1600 Well, after 10 years or so, he was still painting. We could recover Mona Lisa and some of the other works of Leonardo da Vinci because he had not finished it. This one, I don't know whether you think it was a painting or a photograph. The details is ultra realism. Here, the artist is user friendly. In the 20s and 30s, when postmodernism came, the art moved away from photography and things like that. Dali and then Picasso brought in this. They were not saving the time for viewers. They were really engaging. They wanted viewers to engage, reflect, and not really sort of take the content away and then praise it or things like that. It's very engaging. And well, this is all important for us in one way or the other when we actually sort of come later. Okay? And also, library is a growing organism, institution, lots of things. Dodo died, extinct, because he didn't learn how to fly. Though it was a bird, and here is an animal called satanic leaf-tailed gecko. You want to see camouflage, and then actually survive for another day. This is how the nature actually created the organism of the institution, species in a way. If we don't want to do that, well, there is one person here, contemporary, called Aubrey de is from Cambridge. He is talking in terms of physicists, is talking in terms of extending the human life to 1,000 years. And well, that is a unique idea, concept that we actually sort of brought about, challenged. MIT Sloan Review or technology review, MIT carried the challenge with a monetary reward for anybody who would effectively dispute his proposition. Not that well, it's already happened, it made a proposition in terms of how at individual cell level, you tweak the mitochondria, and then over the next 200 years, the lifespan of individuals could be as long as 1,000 years. He has given the map. There were no takers for his research and publications. He had to institute a journal himself. So it has some kind of knowledge generation, acceptance, and things like that. And how the institution of the organization would survive and things like that are things that we can always take from it. Okay, so that is lots of other things of the what. Law 1, Law 2, Law 3, 4, 5 would really mean in the context of the library. We know that. Well, so I move on to the findings that are listed in this reordering Ranganathan, and then the suggestions they make. Okay. It is based, the report is based on 7 major studies, where all of them actually sort of carried out in the context of the US and some of them with the world sample. Numbers are not really much, but then always say the world sample. Major findings. We don't know what materials may be important to a particular student, researcher, author, or community. The ground has slipped away beneath our feet as librarians. Now we don't know what they want. Well, come to reflect of the loss, all these reference surveys and things like that in the context. Well, they're telling move beyond the books, of course. Most of the libraries have moved beyond the books. Researchers were found to place a very high value on electronic journals. So really it has come naturally. Digital content extends beyond e-journals and e-books, comes into all kinds of things, which I would say have no value because they are vanity publications. So then, vanity publication, But I remember one of the students in IPE said, well, here's a good YouTube channel and take a look, ask me, and then like, sir, so I can access it again. What's the content that they put on that? Is, well, not really worth taking a look or second look itself. But then that is the nature of content and the information that is coming into the public domain that the librarians have to nurse. Think beyond e-journals, e-books, and things like that. Okay, and then librarians are moving into locally produced e-content. That is, it's not what is available in the public domain. I got a journal, the circulation of 3040, and then nobody is noticing that. I'm not getting any citation. Digitize that and put it on the web. That's the kind of thing that's happening. And also more. And the report also says publishers are competing and the media is creating a lot of noise and readers themselves are creating a lot of noise. Yes, all of it's true. But should we be maintaining that? All the rubbish that comes on as information is a challenge. You know, I would not be supportive, I would be judgmental in taking, rejecting, and things like that. But the report says, well, take care of this, noise is there, and they take care of that. Libraries are really the determiner of information needs. What we thought was important, second law, third law, and things like that, libraries are not determining the information need. They are getting it from anywhere else. They, and their understanding and availabilities of information is different. Libraries are perceived as mediators. And are we effective mediators? Not be. Well, that's also something. But then obviously, that's how it is. Certain demographics like age and education and discipline experience could actually sort of alter or account for the variation in information use. Okay, and then online library catalogs are difficult to navigate for screenagers, that's digital natives. They would look at Amazon.com and then come to the library catalog. By only screenagers, I would do the same thing in my library. People want to know what their peers value. It is not. What's happened over here is the entire dynamics of information use, availability use has changed. Whether it has changed for the better, we do not quite know. But then it has changed is true. And the prescription is you play with that. Okay? Lack of awareness of library offering is another thing. People do not know what libraries are offering, that they are the users. Okay? Lack of awareness seems to rise with the increase in library substitutes. That is, all the publisher databases and other services that are coming about, that comes because lack of awareness of the users. Okay, and then users no longer just a reader, he is also a judge, everything. We are asked not to judge, not to be judgmental about what information we get into our system, because there could be some reader who has that need and things like that, but then readers themselves are judgmental because they are endorsing it, being okay, 5-star, 3-star, and things like that. I'll tell you how it works. One of my students in IP published a novel. And then some faculty promoted it. I also happened to read it. And then I see in the Amazon, one of the ratings are all 5-star. What ones? They're all his friends who are actually not 5-star. I had to give an honest review. So another buyer who using a 5-star should not be tempted. And then I was told, sir, you are negative. And I was actually prompted to correct that. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay? So, but then That is the kind of reviews that you get. Judgment happens that way. Yeah, on the information retrieval, almost all users describe search engine as the perfect or good fit for their lifestyle, not for retrieval, for their lifestyle. So we are really looking in terms of aligning information retrieval with the lifestyle. So that is dangerous. What we do not know, to the best of my understanding, Princess actually sort of brought in some 15 parameters or so in retrieval. Google today uses 350 parameters for retrieval. We do not quite know all kinds of parameters in terms of my search history, my location, my other searches, all kinds of things like that. This I explored to see Google's 350 that this man, Google CEO, is talking about. He in his opposition to the senators who came on. I could easily find it, but then this is coming from the CEO himself, so there is truth in that. Something has happened which is not necessarily very good for information retrieval from our standpoint, considering Google, to begin with, had the idea of replacing or the search engine or search engine acting as a reference library. Rin and Sergey, the originators of Google, they knew, they were both of them PhD students, they knew what it meant to be a reference librarian, and they brought in, they have in their book, they have told in as many words, they wanted Google to research to a future function as a reference library. Didn't quite. And then later phase, they brought in the citation idea in terms of highly linked, most linked websites, web pages will actually come on the top and things like that. And now it's accessible model. Even that doesn't seem to work. So search engines, they think as perfect. Search engines minimize the need to evaluate. They want it ready-made evaluation happening. It's not happening. Convenience is more important. It is not. All these studies, 7 studies, are research studies. Academic libraries and research libraries. These are not public libraries. Okay, and access, not discovery, is what's important. That is, able to at least see the content and not really retrieving it. Obviously, there is a distinction between access and accessibility. In access, I got the Word file or PDF on my mobile, but then I don't know how to open it. That's accessibility. And well, these are the findings with the users. And later I will show you as to we have to mediate all that. Engage people in new and different ways. Service. Reveal opportunities to engage with them at times and in ways that are both natural and surprising. We are expected to play nannies and improve and enhance the within workflow experience. We are not expecting them to come to the library, come to the library system, come to the library website. We have to go and align with their workflow and then make things happen. Their workflow is start with a erratic search and then move to some other, whatever the workflow that they would have, depending on their scholarly abilities and things like that. And then we have to go with that experience and then make things happen. Libraries have to have begun to adopt. We have a lot of new workflows. That's what they have been doing. And I will show you a video if you want. Libraries have become actively involved in data management, curation, preservation activities. From the minus side of the activities, unlike the plus of the active side. The difference that I see that is actually come about management to the active side, sort out the customers who make the difference, who buy the product, make the difference. And we are actually sort of aligning on the other side, and then trying to actually sort of help them preserve for a rare use and this. Okay, and then others, library offerings are to include research, data services, and library relevance to the campus community. We are trying to nurse the research data, which many universities took up, even in India, they took up without any success. All that data, primary data that we collect, we have to, of course, give it. They don't know how to manage it, but well, even the giving is not quite happening at all. And librarians were expected to, or they are taking on some of those activities. Text mining and things like that, publication support, copyright, these are the kind of things that they are doing. And then librarians will need to balance access against users' need and time demands. So don't give the best, don't give everything, see whether they have time, give that much, whether they can manage, not manage, everything you see, and then give that much. Is what is the findings. Some disciplines are better motivated, that happens. Not all the researchers or all the disciplines are eager to share the data, are actively use that. So knowledge, it is a reflection of the knowledge generation that is happening. It could be sciences, it could be social sciences, or anything. Okay. And as for the image, when people mention libraries, all that libraries are doing, when they mention libraries, they mean books. They're not anything else. You're doing everything else, then that's what it is. And then it says, the university about nurturing library growth is relevance, visibility, and USP. Unique whatever you're capable of, something different, not what is in the mainstream of information retrieval or things like that. Whatever that you're capable of, you got that different collection that people would actually will come to see that, make that happen. Now you got something else which is not necessarily information related, make it again. That's your unique capability, and then that is the way to go about. Okay. Broadly, I classified many of these findings, get repeated in the report, in different headings and things like that. What are the recommendations they have? Information. Every single possible piece of communication material anywhere. I must tell you, I was once talking to an archivist from New York National Archives, New York. Archivists, their occupational prestige is lower than libraries. So I asked him as to how it is and things like that. And then when accepted this national archivist from this, that this is how it is, and you can't get paid less in your, and they have to, of course, deal with all the dust and everything and things like that. But many of us would take pride. He said, oh, I would have all kinds of, if you know, maybe some cartoons of 1950s, 60s. Somebody would come on fine day and then they would want that, and then they look into that cartoon and they're thrilled. I mean, that's the kind of return that we would take. That's, they're thrilled, and then because of whatever he had saved over the years, that one occasional user came along and things like that. Okay, but then that is how it is. Every single possible piece of communication could be used. We don't cover, this is not something that's possible even otherwise. We can't really tell someone, somebody asks, want this information, you don't say, no, that's not what specialization. We don't have that. None of that. We would, of course, accommodate. This is what happens in the real library situation when challenging questions down. Late in the night, somebody wanted, my own experience with that. Somebody, a professor from Hyderabad University, philosophy department, he wanted to introduce one Indian philosopher next day in the morning to a gathering like this, and then he didn't know much about that person. And the internet didn't have any information about what philosophy he is professing, and then no Wikipedia page or anything like that. and then the person comes about 7:30 asking for that information. And you have to deal with things like that. And a lot of creativity is required to manage such things. Okay. Because you make your image based on such interaction. And this again, recommendation is embed library systems and services in the user's existing workflows. Easier said. I know in the organization where I would work, all the training programs would have a core group, and would they accommodate the libraries out there? No, they would not. They would sit in the core group and gossip, and then bring out the same kind of information as the training material, but the library is not accommodated to it. I mean, these are all known things, but then they still say you get embedded in their workflows. If it happens in the US, I'm really glad. I'm not very sure whether it really happens over there. Integrate electronic journals along with the other things. Well, it is happening now. The software is available. Discovery software, for instance, over a huge fee, you can search across your catalog, all the databases and things like that. Make library data compatible with the other formats. It's not the other way around. We have to make it compatible with the other formats. It's not that, well, EBSCO or somebody else who can make it compatible with MARC. The library data has to go with the collection development choices. This prescription is don't be judgmental. I don't know how it's possible. Stewardship of unique assets associated with the institution is something that's expected. That is, if you have an art journal or a newsletter or something like that, digitize it and bring it about. And well, the make research data, bring research data, digitize that, use it, nurse that, make it available to somebody else. Even if somebody gives the research data, I know I have dealt with IMF data. Even when it is IMF data international, retrieving data from a standard format and matching with the user needs a very difficult proposition. Now with the research data from the faculties, it's a different cup of tea altogether. Provide a weekly media digest on the top of it. Keep up to date with trending topics. It's like very challenging. And then about the users, librarians need to become a part of the communities. They don't have to account. You need to, of course, interface with them. The librarians must know from the researcher's perspective. It's pretty tough asking. Only one like me can say on the face to a social scientist. Many of them I have told, we're all semi-literate. Because I knew the literature, I knew them, I knew the competence. I had read their writings and things like that. I could tell them that, well, you are semi-literate. But not many librarians can say that. You can't really just look from their perspectives and then accommodate things like that. Develop a deep, shared understanding of the user needs. More words, difficult proposition. And then again, embedded library. Acknowledge the role of the online social interaction. Yes, of course, we do acknowledge. But then what does it mean? Understand why an issue is important and the reasons may vary across the disciplines. We don't actually do that. Build relationship based on trust. There's just some recommendations. What is this? Build relationship based on trust means share the password. It's somebody you can trust. So much so, sitting here in Hyderabad, I don't have to worry about what's there in Librarian form or EBSCO complete and things like that. I have the access. Only I have the access. I'm not giving it to everybody. But then we can make that exemption. Once a user came, not out from our life, we never accommodated external users because information was price thing. Not everybody was not really paid for that to come and sort of make use of it in my library. Because my faculty have to showcase that, make use of that, and then that is the difference that we bring about. And one university student came about from Vizag, wanted to use CMI data, I asked her, did you come just for this? Simple student. He said, yes, she was down and stayed. I said, take the username, password. You go back to that and make use of that over the next year the way you want. So that is the kind of building relationship based on trust. It happens, you will do that, and then we have to, of course, make this an exception. We don't have to do that. Then, okay, infrastructure, well, reorganize the space, redesign the spaces, what get the people indoor and develop physical and technical infrastructure, deliver digital materials. I tell you, when we started working on sponsored projects in our library, taking up 80% of the time, the agreement was, okay, any money you make of the project, you can use that in the library. So we are earning for the faculty resource. Any infrastructure that you develop, well, you're going to use that, but then it is for faculty, so you can keep it in the library. But then that went on for 1 or 2 years. Beyond that, it turned out, it got normalized. So, okay, you're doing the project like anybody else. So we will actually list it in the annual report. That's all. Okay, but all the same, that is what's expected. Offer library resources, expertise, bandwidth, physical space, networking opportunities to business leaders. We are not only catering to just the users, go beyond business leaders. And also infrastructure, this is also recommended in the report. I don't know how many of librarians would want it. Bouncing ball activities, lounging opportunities, art activities, sleeping time, including disposable pillows, touch with therapy, docs with cuddle and pets. It is turned out to be more in terms of a group, let us have some users. Let us have our job. It is turned out to be more like that. I bet Dr. Ranganathan would have very, in a revolutionary in a way, thought about the library information in a different kind of a perspective, redrawn the fastest laws, formulated in different sets and things like that. Considering political access will come to that. Here, we are not involving in knowledge activities, we are not involving with the actual users who are serious, but then it has come to that when it comes to infrastructure. Okay? If that is the case, who are our rivals in the market? In Hyderabad, this is what we find. In Mysore, you don't. In Bangalore also, study hall, Venkateshwara study hall, AC, non-AC, free Wi-Fi, 1,500 rupees. Amir paid, Dilshuk Nagar, this what is. You provide all these things in the library, people may not come. Look at the way they are there. This is what is happening. In fact, I went into Mysore University Library. I asked the attender in the entrance. I'm used to people not being there in the library. He said, oh, Lord, I went to everybody is preparing for AAS or something like that. They are otherwise looking in the mobile and then reading. They are not really involved with anything else, not the books that are there on this time. So it is more the infrastructure in terms of easy sitting, away from home, things like that. As this kind of study hall that happens in Hyderabad, it could happen anywhere else also, you might know. Here you see high-speed Wi-Fi, mineral water, AC, non-AC, separate cabins, daily newspapers, things like that. Okay. So retrieval, we don't cover the topic. We can't really say that we don't cover something like that when it comes to retrieval. You embed library systems and services to increase the discoverability. How do you embed with the recommendation? If you have something in your library that's precious, go about Wikipedia page and then build the preference, build the link. So an accidental user would go to that page and would actually want to discover that resource to click and come to your library. It's going not an extra mile, it's extra 100 miles. Share tweet, retweet, faculty posts. Faculty suffer image problem, ego deficiency. Retweet that. Follow and participate in subject and location-based Facebook groups. What do? I don't have a Facebook account myself, at least active one. Post reviews that mention user's name. Some username is there, promote it. Increase access to redundancy more than what is required. And these are the prescriptions for the academic libraries and then research libraries in the US. Okay. Marketing and social networking use that. Work with technology companies, solve issues of shared print collection. You work with the technology companies and share your metadata. You give your metadata to them. They would make money and they would sell the same product to you. Reach out through academic communities to the professional organization and industry. And then leverage the power of social influence. If you know people, get them and then advertise to them, things like that. Services are to be aligned with key skill researcher needs, collection, organizing. So what they need, you bring in things like that. The library should seize every opportunity to demonstrate the value of the libraries. Become a part of the communities. Ask is a little too much. For somebody like me, a natural introvert, I would run away. And then lastly, the image. Libraries are unique in today's information environment. Why? Because when they are searching Google, there's nobody to help. When they are really lost, otherwise in Amazon, nobody to help. You are there to give them the hand-holding. Change user perceptions and break through the barriers. Now how? Demonstrate library value, build relationship based on the trust. If these are the recommendations that are there in the report. Okay. And then also says to your own path. Many of us cannot do it. We're not being able to do that efficiently. Even this, they have reordered the laws as save the time of the reader on the top. It's not books are used. Every person is a hard book is the second. Books are for use is the third. And then every book is reader, and then at the end comes the like this going organism. I don't know really. I'm not a very sharp student. I don't know the order of the laws 1, 2, 3, 4. Matters so much as laws of thermodynamics or Newton's law, first, second, third in the same order. Would it have just sort of made a difference? Well, it seems to make a difference. At least it sells for it. Okay. So beyond this, I will actually tell you what my perspective is if I'm not really honest. Okay, key librarian characteristics. Even today it's valid. Love for knowledge. I could survive because I never went to one. I stayed, much to my annoyance of the staff till 8 o'clock or travel home and reach home by 9 o'clock and things like that. Not because I was looking for any use. I wanted many things myself. And then that's my love of knowledge, and that's what I consider. Highly organized and detail oriented, good researcher, keep up the tech trends, desire to work around people, manage people, be personable, strong commitment and self-discipline and ethics. These are what is expected of a librarian today. Fine. So these are, well, not only expected for marketer or salesman who make more money. So what are the personality traits that are there? And then bifactor personality theory. Well, we all fall in a continuum on agreeableness, extroversion, openness to experience, conscientiousness, and neuroticism. We all have different elements of that. Okay. going by the traits that are required, characteristics that are required by the librarian, for a good librarian, and just look in terms of what are the traits, personality traits that are required. Openness to experience, conscientiousness, and agreeableness. So what we are left out over there is extroversion, and then neuroticism. Of course, nobody would want a neuro in the library or anywhere else. These traits that are required of a librarian is required, is precious, and any high-paying profession would pick up people like this. They don't expect even knowledge and understanding. How do I know that? I work in IT, 500 students, and I know the kind of answers they wrote, the tricks they used, which even library science students would not. They're all at the end of the year, they are all placed. So the industry wants them because they are not really looking at they're looking at some of these things. Because many of your teachers, I must tell you how one of the students answered in my subject on some marketing, some social services marketing. He knew one sentence, a long 2-line sentence. And he started the answers for all the questions with that sentence. The rest of the were gibberish. Okay, this is the reality. Libraries are driven to the wall. The ground beneath the feet has moved. User attendance is a problem. We can't really move them very much. I can't really force them to do accessible content. Not that well, I got no time in this school. Accreditation agencies stipulate and stipulation makes the faculty. I consciously did not buy books in the last year, the last 6 months, because some stipulation came about. And NBA, ACT wants a library committee has to be led by. I asked the director general, what is that this man knows about publication? And then when he understood the man doesn't know, and then he approved the list that I had made. And then beyond that, when they made a person about it, I said, I don't want book in the library. You want it. Not many can actually take a stance like that, but then, well, it could accessible content. Librarians have lost control of the resources and pride of resource building. Because of the internet and because of all the AICTA, NBA, and things like that, NBA would count all semi-literate people who would be chairing there. They would come, show the library file, and then how many times you had to meeting. What is that for? They would really look at anything else. Who is the chairman of the library? We have also lost the prize in the books. This is what the cartoon that I've seen in Mayura done a long back, 20 years back. Professor A might lift, come and lift the publication. Professor C. And then the librarian has to carry everything at the end. And then move up from the stage. He is carrying the whole load. Nobody notices that. Diffusion of innovation has to work like this. The people who are good with technology, they learn it, the early adopters, early majority, late majority, and then librarians have to lead with the language and don't deal with them. Problem is, they do not really make any influence. In the society, their word doesn't carry any weight. Yeah, and only somebody who is otherwise entertained. I was looking, again, going by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how a commercial enterprise and academic enterprise. We are actually looking at that as an academic enterprise. How a commercial enterprise works. There is a worker who produce, it's a product, industrial organization, R&D, quality, innovation, things like that, and there is customer on site. we are interfacing with the customer, worker, and things like that. So there is some problem. I will from customer I'll get the feedback and I will of course improve the quality and things like that. If the customer is not one I want, I will price it more. I will drive him away. It's only, the market operates like that. I have the choice. I can price more, sell less, all kinds of things are common. When it comes to academic enterprise, the pure academic enterprise, there's a knowledge from societal importance, there's a research agenda, scholarly societies and associations are there, and then research methodology. Unfortunately, our research methodology in library science is not different from social sciences. It's okay, absolutely no problem. It need not be econometrics always, but in all the same we operate. But our research agenda, going by the kind of report that we saw, is problematic. We need something different, is what I feel. Okay. What is that different? The difference has to be in terms of mastering the information and mastering the users. We have not done that. This is what I was seeing when it comes to types of information. We never understood types of information like this. We understood primary, secondary, tertiary, and things like that. And that is not the way it is. Secondary information for somebody who is not a librarian is a signal that comes in the absence of something. There's an indicator of my bike is not starting, bar is not starting, the signal comes up, indicating that well, there could be a problem with the battery. That's a secondary information. So the world, the rest of the world actually will understand information in a different way. All kinds of information are accommodated there. And if we at least go about that way, we can make a change, is what I see. Okay, user types. User types, I could accessible gather from one of the references in the internet. Dr. Ranganathan had these 6 types of the users. His time, that's how accessibility connected. I will of course conceptualize them as expert users who can share leads if we meet at the same way. Expert user, I can learn from him, he can learn from me. Self-confident user who needs some leads, but he can reciprocate with his knowledge. Average user who needs initial handholding, but he can follow the instruction. Laggards are 2 types: sensitive, dependent user. They are sensitive. There are many people who are insensitive, manipulating. They push the information search on you. And then, well, they are dependent users on this. So I would be spending my time on retrieving something for you, which you may not be, in my assessment, taking an effective use. Judgmental, but then, well, if I don't do that, I would be sitting till 10 o'clock in the library. As a contrast, how management use the customers. They use this is a standard, there's a trademark over there. Thinkers, believers, achievers, strivers, experiencers, makers, and then at the end, survivors and innovators, top innovators, who can actually make things happen himself, early adopter and things like that. This is a standard model that marketers, teachers of consumer behavior would use. Based on this, well, Indian models have come about in this time. We have not really approached it like that critically, categorized them, and then, well, what about the variation in terms of what could be given, what cannot be, and things. It's a problem. And then, product consumer, we have, of course, products, services are to facilitate source use. That's the kind of product that we have. Our source control, book circulation, library hours, and other things in budget control. These are the kind of services that we have. What we have not noticed or thought about in the class you teach, when I taught services marketing, I was surprised. There's something called emotional labor. Emotional labor. Emotional labor is something that, I don't know, somebody is at the reception, and the customer comes and abuses, but the product is okay. Receptionist cannot access or give back. They have to, of course, absorb that. That is the emotional labor. I'm not putting in hard labor, but then I have to, of course, take in that abuse, not of my making, somebody else is making in the company, that I'm sitting occupying this chair, which is getting to public, I have to absorb it. That's the emotional labor. And we are also what emotional labor is involved in the life. We have to, of course, notice that. And then all the other products that we have is repackaging, facilitation, reference, information discovery. Information quality evaluation, we don't do that. We are not asked to do that. Accommodate everybody, all the things, there could be some remote user and things like that. What else we can, given that, what else we can do really? Fake news identification and certification. Competitive intelligence for companies and institutions. Competitive intelligence for decision makers in the institutions. Bias review or match what in the context of the products. Technical writing. I told you about something in the context readability and things like that. That kind of certification is done. Citation impact improvisers. I would want places like this to hold training to faculty members as to how to improve your citation impact and charge for that. None of these things should come free. First call counselors. Somebody asks something and then you're not, they're giving information and an opinion. Technical lead for noise in tech product use and mythbusters. These are the kind of services that we can take on, not for free. I would, in fact, we held a workshop in IP on competitive intelligence. Competitive intelligence with marketers, they don't accessible make it. We can make that competitive intelligence in many different ways. I know to work with the information in the context of an election, in the context of the company product. In the context of an election, I had a user once was talking to him, and he said, just before the election season, he would make something like 40 lakh rupees with the information that he had. I asked him how we spent what and everything. Made roads. So it's a distribution for several operators over there. They would collect primary information about voter preference in the villages, in the small towns and things like that. Create a database and then sell it to the political candidates just before the election. And that is priced as high as 4 rupees. That's information and opinion, database that is created and it's not accessible, made known to everybody at appropriate time one would wait for, and then make the money. That's how it is. So it could be about products. I would 100 people come, wherever they are, I would get the product preference, create a database, sell it to the company. In fact, all these price services are made in the library, not only made known. None of them are given free. In fact, in Mudra, the library, Maika, in Alva, one person told me how he has created a database of advertisements over the decades. What was that? The was advertising in 50s, 60s, 70s, or something like that. Create a database and then sell it to the consumers. Is a librarian. None of that is made available to the users. There's an investment and people have to pay for that. So many of these there is no end to what innovation that we can do and make and things like that. On print, if you have not really heard Sandhya Ramesh, what does she do? All the capsules of 5 minutes, 10 minutes of summarization of science. Fantastic presentation, and it gets sold. So this one, it's very impressive. So what's being entrepreneurial today, and you need to be innovative. No, I just want to give it away to people just like that. Library faculty or library departments like this must initiate incubators right here for making things happen. And then you must use, source to find from wherever. Imagine, don't really limit yourself to 1, 2, 3, 4, library users and things like that. Think beyond. Deal with the primary data, deal with the log data. Be very creative, and then make an information product happen here. Then the students would have the confidence to move out and then take such actions. Okay. Okay, libraries and information professionals have taken control again in gradient classification. In the process, we would be stepping on the toes of other professions, other disciplines. It could be mass communication, it could be something else, something else. It doesn't matter. We like to do that because that's in our interest. To master information, master consumers, understand the market. Market can come any day. Not really waiting for somebody to come and make the free use of that. No, we would not do that. We would ask. And I've seen many libraries do not allow outsiders. Why? Because you made the investment and purchasing something important, and then it's for our faculty use or for our trainees. It's not for somebody else in the next go to come about and then take a copy of that. Because in my own library, when I buy something that's worth, let's say 50,000 rupees, primary data, one user that I would have, you would say, oh, you bought it, say thanks, make a copy, and then give it back to me. What do I do with that? That's it. I can always, of course, be magnanimous, share with others and things like that. If I do that, going by the commercial law, I may not be having my job 2 years hence. So that is something where we have to overcome. Even that, how would I reorder instead of what the way they do? Library is a growing organism. Every reader is a book. The rest of them are accessible from attention. Every book is readable well if it is important. That's how I would reorder. So, well, there's a difference. The difference, the information seen as accessible content change. The ground beneath the floor, the feet has moved. People would want me to be named anything else other than the librarian, but there was an offer that was made to me when I became a librarian, every general and IAS. He said, Satish, do you want to be, we can choose another designation. This is where it has accessible come to. Even that, we have to, of course, think and then very radically reinvent what we teach, what's important, and things like that. Whether the users or the end of it, we want to go the whole hog. Okay. So this is where I will start, and I will show you a video just for how far it is accessible on our countries. And tell me whether you like that. This is one of the public libraries. I hope it's working. I know they come, but all the time, tell you what's important for you over there. This is US where state-funded libraries are there, public libraries, among several other users. Making it open, here it comes. I don't know whether. It's difficult, audio is not captured here. This is from a. This is the library. Forget about the audio. I'll tell you what's happening over there. This is the public library where they have changed the infrastructure in a way. Using this is what's available on the grounds of the library. The activation of the service. Redoing the interiors. And what's available over there? All these kind of things in the library. Also books, of course. Doing machines, game, then 3D printers, there are also books, of course. Library attendance went up. Then, what kind of library attendance? You see that it will come again. People coming with scholars and the librarian eagerly inviting people. Fortunately, there are many terminals and things. And just music and all the guitar and everything is part of the library. Other collections, somebody is stitching and doing all kinds of things. Just wait for a while. Just wanted to show you this. This man comes, is homeless. What do you want in the library? Is homeless, is living in the streets. Do we have to, like, he wants to go to the toilets, nothing more. Do we have to go the whole round? I mean, this kind of investment is, well, is a dream for us. Then somewhere there's a problem, is what I see in terms of our conceptualization of the library in the changed time. If we don't do that, you won't get many students. And the kind of a price student that you need, where people ask for much more than that. You will have to go make information products, teach more of that, how to make the best, not really give away everything is useful. Yes, it is useful for me. I would make product of that. That is the way commercial, not the pure academic enterprise. But then, as an academic enterprise survive, sociology, political science, there's so many things. They have survived too, but then their body of knowledge is unique. We have not been able to actually bring it that body. We have failed to do that. Our users, we have not been able to categorize them. Information, we have not been able to master them. We have been serving to the lower end of the society and then want to hand over, survive at any cost, including that of our, this will have impact on our self-image, which is not quite happen. It goes like this. As I was saying some 2-3 years back, importance of the what is that? Importance in the master's degree in the American universities. MLS comes second to the part. You know what happened. It was a price thing. It doesn't quite work. So today, what's required is drop all these things. Things have changed. Rethink and encourage any other discipline that is important for you. Good enough. Get into the management, get into journalism, communication, get into anything else that you think is important. Lean from there, press, tread on their toes, make things happen here. Redefine everything, including reorder by us. Sorry, I don't know whether I spoke more.
You like to take some questions, if there are?
I would like to take more questions.
So the session was very meticulous, especially for libraries. And in the beginning, you told that is the management and the librarians, librarians, both of them. You have gone through their instruction and you have won this. And you said in India, your librarians are not to this level. And in the last, you said in US, the MLS is from bottom, it is in seconds. What is that? You said in abroad, librarians are like this. And in India, librarians has to be like this. But you said in the last that library science, that is MLS, is from bottom, it is in the second.
No, it's a challenge to be.
You mean to say that in other countries other than India, especially
It's also,
so
it's not only in India, we got a crowd here. Like a municipal has same thing of crowd. The students. They don't want to have it. That is the challenge.
what is the lacking of that there?
Lacuna is not there or here. Lacuna is the world of information has changed.
See, if, for instance, let me give you an analogy. If the medical doctor knew all about, protein and B cold and things like that, that kind of a knowledge has come to the public domain. 50 years back, if I had fever or cough and mucus and things, I would go to the doctor. Today I would not. I would go and buy protein and all that kind of thing. So I would reach the doctor, medical doctor, at a later stage. So the knowledge he has to specialize, he or she has to specialize to that level. My need for a cold or cough or a temperature is known to me. The knowledge is coming to public domain. The same thing has happened world over with the internet. First level understanding the information has already is available to everybody. So the discipline and its relative importance of the information has changed. There was a time when, it was different. Books were changed. I was thinking, today in Hyderabad, not speaking of other places, if the books are kept chained, people would not steal the book, they would steal the chain.
And it would have been very wonderful, it would have given the videos of academic library or university library.
They are there. I don't have to, of course, give everything. I have taken it from the internet. Well, that is the. Now I told you as a librarian, when I had to trace a book on the I would first look in Amazon because my catalog did not quite have the images, and then actually I would get a feel in terms of how it would look and how big it is and things like that, and I would go get that. It's a well-managed library. Many of the libraries are not well-managed. None, I don't know. I have worked in several libraries. Book order, including USIS and British Council, they don't actually pay for that. If I have to retrieve a book, I must be able to tell it is there or not there. And if it is not there, I should be actually going about looking for that. No, in SRC we have worked for long years. None of that. It's there or not. If it is not there, it is either lost or it's borrowed out and that kind of thing. So it's not that kind of a meticulous operations are not there in the libraries. So in India, at least in other places, they maintain some of those kind of work ethic and discipline. We don't quite follow the accounts. Well, that is the reality. That's the reality. In fact, we don't know how to manage the shell. I'm not talking in terms of the other libraries. When I joined SP, the staff from India, I told I joined as a second. Look, if you keep the book like this, and then the way it was, the difference in terms of impression to the users, enormous. It's but we don't quite follow that because discipline. Who would say when I can't read these are things conscientiousness that's required. So it's difficult. At a point in many libraries, you retrieve a book, and then immediately you go to wash your hand because that's the kind of dust that is there. The reality is increasingly it happens because there are no users and maintenance turns out to be problematic.
I'm glad you mentioned contrary, you are a contrary. I have a contrarian opinion about not only the OCHC report as well as your own whole idea. There are so many things that we were lectured here. Let me first talk about the OCHC report of reordering. I think OCHC report is more from a practical, pragmatic perspective, whereas Ranganathan's bylaws are. But I personally believe that theory, that there is no practice without theory. Okay? So it's more a foundational
philosophical, theoretical way of putting the last. So in that sense, I would argue the order need not be the order. It's still because the essence of anything, book or library, etc., is in use. All other, things can be derived from them. Whether, for example, the OCLC report says now we focus on the time. The reason is that time is more important, especially in the new context, that is the present context of where people can get, say, information. You were saying, people would go to Amazon rather than coming to the library because they can find the right? So from that perspective, from a practical perspective, to remain relevant, they have said reorder in the sense of, make say the time of the reader as the number, but the reader say the time when the reader comes, because books are meant for us. Information is meant for us. The essence of all this stems from use. So I would still say that fundamentally, we have to philosophically, we all have to understand that it is the primary purpose of book and information is use and use. So that is why I would say I would not reorganize it, because first law is about use, second law is about use. And third law is about the book or the information. Now we also mentioned about the OCLC report says that book is a metaphor. Our library is also a metaphor. It's for information, it's for content. Now, coming to the second point that you mentioned about growing organism, that your order you said, all that come from the matter is use. Otherwise, these are all derivatives of that fundamental law of the use of the funds. Now, the second point that I want to say is you also said that understand the market. Sometimes you said that you do not agree with, for example, what the OCLC report said that you do this, go on social media, do your own harm, etc. You said you don't really agree with it. Understanding the market is that doing your own harm. And you say you have marketing, we know that, right? You have to do your own harm, otherwise someone will not do your harm. Right? So we have to do it. So you also contrarily said, first you said that we don't think that this is all necessary, but you said to understand the market. So we all have to understand the market. If the millennials are not coming to the library for a reason, we need to take library to the millennials, right? And how do we do that? By doing whatever they want, by integrating with their lifestyle. And remember another thing, it's not today, even a century back, librarians or libraries have tried to do that. They were organizing more, whether it was Carnegie who supported public libraries, etc. was very to attract people to the library, and even today that's continuing in the US public libraries also. Today, library is the hub of social, cultural activity. And that's how they come, and they also use the books, they also use it. Let me just tell you that one personal anecdote. I know that in the US, for example, my own grandparents, I've been doing a nanny for my granddaughter. When I was interviewed, I said, what are the things that you will do? So I will take the baby to the library. And that is the difference. A child learns, and the nanny also knows that going to the public library is essential, not just for books, it is included, but for various other things, which is part of the library service.
Well, I would say I was a library science. Dr. Ranganathan would not have really he was a pragmatist. Left brained, very logical, everything. It's philosophical, is open to use it as a philosophical statement, but then he means very specific things by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like books are for use. But today, at that time, when the universe of books and the literature, the scholarly literature, was limited, all those things held good. Today, as I told you, self-published books and vanity publications, like the blog that I write or something like that, well, it carries certain ephemeral value of XYZ. It is not for the society as such. Not all of them. It would not. If I have to take it on my head, that is, as a librarian, well, it is kind of taking the across, like, you take the entire responsibility for the rest of the world as such. No, if that is the case, it's fine, it's noble and all that. We cannot survive. We cannot survive that way. It is an impossibility to survive because you need to get the best of the people, you need to digest the best of the technologies, and you need to cater to laggards in a way. Other things fall out in terms of somebody would explicit about the rest of the world is moved into the library. Why should the rest of the world move into the library? Let's do it. Let's do rest of the world for anything else. Opening New York public park is there. I mean, let them, they do the portion. Why should they come to the library? Why should I just go take the burden? That is not what a typical, any problem of society, sociologists would deal with, any political problem, political scientists would, no, none of them. They are markets. And here we are taken on dealing with the low influencers, hand holding with them, taking all the information on our head, trying to accommodate all the modes in the video. If that man comes in and he wants to use the toilet, if he goes to McDonald's, he has to pay for that. Elsewhere, he has to pay something. Gas station for toilet. So he would come down to the library.
What is wrong there? It's a public service. Public institution, it's a public service.
It is not the librarian service. The government has to take it. Otherwise, it would be library bhagya. Then Siddhamaya would say library bhagya.
There is nothing wrong with that too. It should be a bhagya for everybody. And that is the philosophy and the essence of public libraries. It is a bhagya for everybody. It should be.
It is not, when it comes to study, everything is included and you understand. But you cannot enthuse a set of young students who have that kind of characteristics if you say, well, everything we accommodate, everything. That doesn't work in a critical situation. Yes, go ahead.
I'm sure many others have questions, but then Satish is around, he will be in Mysore and probably he will be accessible. So if there are questions, I think we take it later. Let's get on.
Thank you, Dr. Satish, for sharing your enlightening reflections with us. It is a time of felicitating the achiever. The Department of Studies in Library and Information Science has a tradition of felicitating the achiever. Continuing this tradition, today we are recognizing the achievement of one of the young professionals who has cracked the UGC NET exam recently. She has graduated from us in 2019. For a brief while, she worked in Regional Institute of Education, Mysuru, for 2.5 years as a project assistant. Now, she is working as a guest assistant librarian at Government First Grade College, Viratpet. The younger is none other than Kumari Meenakshi. I request her to come over to the dais and accept an honorarium as a token of appreciation from her teachers and the department for clearing the UGC NET exam. We wish her further success in all her endeavors in her career. Thank you, Professor Sapna, for honoring the young professional. We are truly honored to have Professor Sapna MS, the chairperson of the Department of Studies in Mass Communication and Journalism at Manasa Gangotri University of Mysore as a guest of honor. I now invite her to address the gathering.
plethora of things in front of you because he is addressing the students and it is the students who need to take the things forward and the department is known and department will always be famous only because of the students because you'll be the brand ambassadors in future tomorrow. And I'm very thankful that Satish sir has given a lot of ideas which I'll be just taking because as soon as I entered here, when I spoke to Harinarayan sir in the morning, he said you have around 10 to 12 minutes of time to speak. But now when I asked him, he said please cut it short to 5 minutes. So I know, but anyways, I come to the Department of Media and we have 24 hours of time to speak to you people, but keeping the things in mind and also to respecting the time of the other people in the auditorium and just take some 2-3 things and I'll also be speaking about 2-3 ideas what I took away from the talk of Satish sir. Sir spoke about a lot of things which is very much important for the students, not only as the students of library and information science, but also as the students will be getting into the profession in another 1 or 2 years of your time. Sir spoke about the digitalization of the things and sir also spoke very important because I come from the community. We work with the community people, especially get onto the field. Most of the social science people work with the community, work with the humans and we know what people feel about the library. The very first slide what Sir showed was about library is not taking the people or maybe the people not coming to the community, that was the thing. And you also at the end of this slide, you also showed about how the experimentation, social experimentations is happening, not only in US but also across the country, also where communities need to be pulled out because it's in the age of information. Each and everything is digitalized and getting to the nerve of the people, bringing the people to life is very interesting because everything is available on the mobile. People have lost the touch of a book nowadays. Everybody knows about it. But still, libraries need to experiment a lot about it. Sir told about one particular thing where he said we need to rethink. I would like to add on 2 more things to that rethink. It's not only about rethinking how the libraries can reach out to the community. From the libraries, from the books, from the newspapers, what is being given to you people. So we need to re-experiment a lot of things which can bring the people to the libraries. At the same time, I'll also like to add on one more thing is about reconnection. People, especially the younger generation, have lost the connect with the libraries. Hardly we find libraries or hardly we see students going into the libraries. Each and every department in the campus has libraries. But how many of our students go to the library? You people belong to that department, so usually your experimentation, your things lies in the libraries. But for us, it is very difficult to bring the students. We have all the things, we got all the books being shelved up in the library, but hardly students make it away. So I would like to suggest, or I would like to ask Harinarayan sir if some experiments can be made from the libraries because it is a time to connect with the department. It is very much necessary to have interdisciplinary and also interdepartmental activities where we have libraries, but we don't know how to maintain it. If it seriously, we just shelf it up, we just put it on after some haphazard, we will arrange the things and we don't know how it is to be done. So maybe a student of your department can be taking up as a small example or maybe a small experimentation where people can take it to students to each departments. Tell our students how the things have to be arranged in a simple way, basic way, because even a community, even a teacher like me of 80-90 years of experience, don't know how the books has to be there. So you people are the specialists. Maybe these kind of interdepartmental activities because education starts from the universities. Okay, creating a kind of awareness among the public would be a very big thing. And let's start as an example with the university itself. And sir also spoke about the accessibility. And also I would like to put forward this thought about what media wants is a kind of write-ups from the things because reaching the community is a very important thing. And ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈಬ್ರರಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ ಟು ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಫ್ರಾಂಕ್ there are no people, there are no expertise to write columns on library. Okay, the only easy way to connect to the general public is about telling what libraries are doing in terms of your experimentation, in terms of what accessibility we can have. at least expertise like two people, the senior professors can start contributing something so that the awareness among the general public will be much more better than those kind of things, sir. And also, sir, one important thing what sir spoke about is the market research. Sir spoke about market research. Yes, there is a very huge gap. There's a very huge opportunity for the younger generation like you people because you people learn data mining. And there is a scope for advertising where we need market researchers. So better people are you people who can always have, don't think only library science is offering you the jobs, but there are many other related subjects like journalism, like MBAs, where we need people who can do these kind of activities. So I think this kind of session, this kind of interaction with the senior most professionals and also having stalwarts of the department, making these things happen is a very good thing, sir. I'm very happy to be a part of it. So I'm completely cut out from the department. Thanks for inviting me and also giving me a lot of food for thought, which I can always carry back to my class and teach it and also share it with my students and community. Thank you one and all, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Sapna, for your inspiring words and suggestions. We are greatly honored by the presence of our esteemed Professor P.S. Raghavan, whose participation elevates the significance of this event. He is an authority on Ranganathan's philosophy. He is one of our alumni. We extend our heartfelt appreciation to you, Professor Raghavan, for gracing us with your presence and kindly request you to deliver the presidential address.
Just on her person, I did not know. And I was the chief. Yes, speaker program. I've been asked by Dr. Harinarayana to also say a few things about the endowment, which I haven't been in charge of the charge for life science. But unfortunately, I don't have so much of time now to talk in detail about the endowment. It was founded by Dr. Ranganathan in 1963. It was actually an initiative of students of Dr. Ranganathan. And they wanted to name it after him. But Ranganathan himself suggested that it should be named after his wife, and that's how it became Ranganathan Endowment for Library Science. It has been a major publisher. We have published several books. We are now in the process of revising some of the books. We conduct endowment lectures, Ranganathan endowment lectures, Ranganathan memorial lectures, beginning 1972, Ranganathan endowment lecture from the very inception of the endowment. And then more recently, we also have instituted Professor A. Neelamegan memorial lecture and cousin of Seshachalam endowment lectures. Many of these lectures have been published in the form of books. We also, where we are not in a position to publish, or the authors are not able to make the material available in the form of a book for publication, we publish them as articles, papers in our journal. The journal has been completely restructured. It has been, the scope of the journal has been redefined. It started way back in 1964 as library science with a slant to documentation. And it's the 60th year of publication now. Beginning this January, we have named it as Journal of Information and Knowledge. And Dr. Satish is one of the associate editors of that particular journal. The endowment also organizes conferences, and I was telling my friends here that 2024 being the centenary year of Ranganathan entering library profession. He became librarian of the University of Madras in 1924. So 2024 marks the 100th year of Dr. Ranganathan entering library profession. we are organizing an interactive conference in collaboration with the India International Center, New Delhi, on 12th, 13th, and 14th of August 2024. And the theme of the conference is AI, artificial intelligence, and the knowledge industry. So we will know, all of you will hear more about this in the coming months and days. So I really don't have to tell much about the Sharda Ranganathan endowment for life research. Maybe I'll talk about it some other time. Don't have so much of time right now. Coming to Dr. Satish talk, well, it really has generated a lot of rethinking, questioning, like Professor Kani has raised many of these questions. We should be doing, why not we do these things? Getting users to libraries has been something that has been a concern for library and information professionals right from the beginning. Right? It's not something very new, and they have adopted very many different strategies to get users to complete like in more recent times of. I just would like to cite one very important example, good example. Way back in 1952, when the Delhi Public Library was started as an initiative project of the UNESCO. The Delhi Public Library had on certain weekdays, they would get a lawyer on a particular weekday. On one day, they would get a doctor, some other professional on some other day. This is part, that was a part of the activity of the Delhi Public Library, so that people could get legal opinion, or they could consult with a doctor. So apart from many other things, now that did enhance the number of people who came to the library. And a survey that was conducted in the early 1950s, a couple of years after the establishment of the Delhi Public Library, showed that an average Delhi citizen read much more than his counterpart anywhere in Europe or North America. That was one of the findings of the survey that was actually carried out when the Delhi Public Library. So this is not something entirely new. Now, one other point Dr. Satish touched upon that, that instead of, we need to be proactive. Yes, certainly, no dispute about that. But he did talk about, that we are more concerned about curation and preservation. I think that is one of the most important responsibilities and functions of a library. Now, that is not something that we can forget about. Or we need to preserve knowledge in whatever form it is for posterity, and preservation, digitalization, etc. of one. Whatever it may be, that is very, very important. At least to me, it is very important from the point in terms of the objectives and goals of the library. That's a very important thing. I'm not able to, touch upon every one of those issues that we did talk about, but one other thing, and then I will close. Librarians need to be innovative and enterprising, certainly, yes. Now, one of the things that he mentioned when he compared librarianship, library science with other disciplines like social debate, have a substantial body of knowledge, which librarianship really lacks, at least according to some people. Certainly, it's something that has been talked about a great deal, that we do not have a very strong theoretical base. I think high schools are, the high school movement is a step in addressing this particular issue. But this also not something new. Way back in the 1930s, when the University of Chicago started a library school, 30s, I think it was in the 1930s. The University of Chicago started a library school. They recruited out their faculty in electrical engineering. Not all of them were library science graduates. Jack Welser was on the faculty, was an electrical engineer. Like that, they did get in an interdisciplinary faculty. And because of that, the American Library Association for many years refused to give affiliation to the degrees awarded by the University of Chicago Library School, but they didn't follow. It emerged as one of the finest library schools in the United and continues to be one of the best schools even today. Now, the body of knowledge, yes, certainly. That's a very, very important issue that it has, right? And I think that is one of the things that is being addressed by high schools. And many times what happens is that because the men, the profession is held in low esteem by the general public. That is something that we refer to very frequently. Now, things that we do may not get the kind of recognition that they deserve. One faculty member of the University of Chicago, Dr. Don Swanson, I hope you have heard of him. You must read some of his works. Did some research on medicine, based entirely on the published literature in the area of medicine, and was able to find out what could be the factors contributing to causing migraine. Only later the doctors, found out that that was right. But not all the doctors who wrote about it did acknowledge. Only two of them who wrote about it acknowledged Dr. Swanson's contribution. So people are not very forthcoming even when there are, significant contributions made by library professionals in recognizing that this has come from the punch card. It's a contribution of library. It came from library. The punch card system, which was used for early data entry, that was a contribution from a library. So there are many things like that where librarians have made very significant contribution. But yes, information environment has substantially changed, altered, and it is extremely important, particularly for the new generation, to understand the changing information environment, understand the changing user behavior, information seeking behavior of users, and from that particular point of view, I think that the Satish talk today has been very, very significant. On behalf of the Ranganathan for Library Science, I would like to thank Dr. Satish for this very inspiring talk on the whole. And I request him kindly convert it into a paper, make it available to us for publication so that it can reach a much wider audience. Thank you.
K.S. Raghavan for your presidential address. As we draw this event to a close, I invite Dr. N. Chandrasekhara, the senior most professor from the Department of Studies in Library and Information Science at University of Mysore, to extend our gratitude to all dignitaries and guests who will vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to one and all. It is with immense pleasure and heartfelt gratitude that I stand here to extend a warm vote of thanks to all who have made this event a grand success. First and foremost, I want to extend my sincere appreciation to today's event president of this today's event, Professor K.S. Raghavan sir, whose invaluable contribution made this event possible. We are humbled by your presence and look forward to the continued collaboration that enrich our shared goals. Thank you once again for your presence, deliberations, as well as wholehearted support for conducting this event. Thank you. I expect Ranganathan to hand over the momentum to Professor K.S. Raghavan sir. Our sincere appreciation goes to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Yan Satish sir. He has given some this very good lecture, whose insightful words have enriched our gathering today. He has quoted many things, social report, and how this Ranganathan's bylaws can be reordered on these things. On behalf of the department and University of Mysore, I wholeheartedly thank Dr. Satish sir. Thank you very much, sir. I request Dr. N.S. Harinan to hand over a memento to Dr. Satish sir. A special note of appreciation goes to our guest of honor, Professor Sapna Madam. She has been limited time. She has narrated very nicely how this library science can collaborate and help to the other departments. And your presence, enthusiastic participation, and also this positive energy graced our occasion. On behalf of the Department of Library and Information Science, I wholeheartedly thank Professor Sapna Madam. I request Dr. Aditya Kumari Madam to hand over a memento to Dr. Sapna. None of this would have been possible without the dedicated effort of the chairman and my colleague Professor N.S. Harinan. This meticulous planning and countless hours of hard work, and also this attention to every detail have truly paid off in creating a seamless and memorable Ranganathan Day event. Your commitment to both this fostering events like this is truly commendable, and also on behalf of our department, on behalf of all the faculty and who are present here, I wholeheartedly thank our chairman. I thank the members of Ranganathan endowment for their rich contribution for conducting this particular event. My thanks goes to Professor Shalini R. Aras ma'am and Professor Malinath Kumar sir, Professor Kaisar Nikam ma'am, and Dr. C.P. Ramsey sir, and the librarian Dr. P. Saraswati, and library staff, and the invitees. There are many invitees here, and the guest media friends, students of the department, research scholars, staff. All of them have this because of their presence and the support. This particular program a grand success. I thank each and everyone for their presence. I thank ICD team because all the time this our information and communication division giving the nice coverage of all our programs. On behalf of our department, I would heartily thank the ICD team, particularly today here Mr. Milan is here, and I thank Milan on behalf of the department. I would like to extend my personal gratitude to every single person who contributed, whether it's a big or small, to this event. Your efforts have collectively created an atmosphere of togetherness and shared learning. This is actually almost important. We learned many things from our senior friends, professional friends, or the department alma maters. Thank you to one and all. Thank you each and everyone. Thank you. Last this, thanks to Dr. Sunil Kumar, Dr. Nivedita, and many others are there, smiling and all. Okay, thank you each.
Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekhara, for your gracious vote of thanks. Gathering, hoping that the wisdom shared today will continue to illuminate our path in the realm of knowledge and information. Thank you, one and all.